Bienvenidos nuevamente. Reiniciamos el ciclo de conferencias con un interesante bloque denominado Clústeres Mineros y Desarrollo Nacional, el cual tiene por objetivo resaltar el enorme potencial que tiene nuestro país para el desarrollo de clústeres mineros que conlleven al encadenamiento de la minería con otros sectores productivos. Este espacio contará con una conferencia magistral a cargo del ministro de Recursos Naturales y Minas de Queensland de Australia, doctor Anthony Lynham, que será la antesala perfecta para el panel de debate sobre clústeres mineros que congregará a reconocidos especialistas y empresarios de la industria nacional. Sin mayor preámbulo, tengo el honor de saludar e invitar al doctor Anthony Lynham, ministro de Recursos Naturales y Minas de Queensland, Australia, y a los destacados panelistas que nos acompañarán en el panel de clústeres mineros, los señores Carlos Casas, director del Centro de Estudios de Minería y Sostenibilidad de la Universidad del Pacífico, Roberto Nesta, director ejecutivo de FIMA, Carlos Gálvez, presidente de la Sociedad Nacional de Minería, Petróleo y Energía, y por supuesto al ingeniero Eduardo Rubio, presidente del Encuentro Empresarial, quien moderará este interesante debate que estamos seguros será del provecho para todos los presentes. Adelante, ingeniero Rubio. Voy a ceder la palabra al señor Anthony Lynham, ministro de Recursos Naturales y Minas de Queensland, Australia. Adelante, señor.
Gracias. And thank you for your interest in Australia and Queensland. I'd like to firstly acknowledge Nicholas McCaffrey, the Australian Ambassador to Peru, Mr. Carlos Galvez, President of the National Society of Mining, Petroleum and Energy, Mr. Roberto Nesta, the CEO of FIMA, Mr. Carlos Casas, the University of Pacific, and Eduardo Rubio, President of the Organising Committee of the Business Program. I note the theme of PERUMIN 2015, but I also note that Australia and Queensland place a great deal of importance to Peru and to South America. That's why I've travelled so far to be here today. We have the largest pavilion here today at the exhibition, and we also are the fourth largest investor to the Peruvian mining sector. We are pleased to contribute to the transformation and growth of Peru. But PERUMIN 2015 is a theme of social inclusion and development opportunity. This reflects our views of the mining industry in Australia. We believe in balancing the economic, environmental and community benefits of mining and exploration, and our policies reflect this. Like Latin America, the resources sector is the backbone of Queensland's economy. Today, I would like to provide you with a brief overview of the state of the industry in Queensland and a history of how we reached the point where we are today. I would also talk to you about our mining clusters and about how our government, industry and academia work together in Queensland to drive innovation, efficiency and productivity. And finally, I'd like to leave you with some thoughts. We as a government plan to maintain a strong and thriving resources sector in Queensland. Queensland is recognised globally as a world-class producer and leading destination for mining and for petroleum and gas resource investment. We are one of the world's top producers and exporters of coal and liquefied natural gas. We have 54 coal mines with collective exports of more than 219 million tonnes of seaborne coal in 2014-15. In the year to May 2015, we exported 217 million tonnes of coal, making us the world's largest exporter of coal. Between 2011 and today, more than 70 billion Australian dollars have been invested in creating 3 coal seam gas to liquefied natural gas operations. Together, they are expected to produce more than 1,500 petajoules of gas a year for the next 20 to 30 years. By 2018, Queensland is set to be among the world's leading exporters of liquefied natural gas. We also mine and export a broad range of base metals, including zinc, copper, lead and bauxite. In 2014-15, we produced 33 million tonnes of bauxite, 1.7 million tonnes of zinc, 385,000 tonnes of lead and 161,000 tonnes of copper. The resources industry is a major contributor to the state's economy. It generates more than $2 billion in annual royalties for our government and supports 1 in 5 jobs in our state of 4.8 million people. That's 1 in 5 jobs, the resources sector. Now let's look at the history of our industry. How do we get there? Australia has a long history of mining activity, reaching back 40,000 years to when our Indigenous peoples mined ochre and stone. Mining commenced just 200 or so years ago in Queensland, with European and Asian migrants heading to the state's far north and northwest to seek the fortunes in gold and base minerals. The highlights include the discovery of one of the world's richest zinc-lead seams at Mount Isa in 1923, leading to the establishment of a mine and a city still thriving today. It was in the 1950s that our modern resources industry had its beginnings. We had a United States company. Utah Construction and Mining began exploring in Queensland for a commodity that could be mined on a large scale, in particular iron ore and coking coal. Anticipating a rapid increase in demand for coal imports from Japan, the Queensland government granted Utah a prospecting area of 1,750 square kilometres around central Queensland. By 1967, open-cut mining had started in the central Queensland town of Blackwater. In exchange for its mining lease, the government expected Utah to play an active role in establishing pit-to-port infrastructure, and this formed the basis of our first mining cluster around the town of Blackwater. In 1966, Utah and Japan's Mitsubishi formed Central Queensland Coal Associates and secured a 10-year deal with Japanese steel industry and rights to an estimated 2,000 million tonnes of Queensland coal over 84 years. During the 1970s, Utah established 4 working coal mines. This, combined with the increased demand for coal due to the oil shocks, paved the way for other companies to invest in our resource-rich Bowen Basin. And there's a message here for Peru and to Latin America. Remember, we only started really in the 1970s, only a short time ago. And then there's gas. Natural gas is extracted from the Cooper and Eromanga basins, and Australia's first gas pipeline opened in 1969 in Queensland. It brings gas from the Roma gas field to Brisbane for commercial and domestic use. The most recent wave of development has been the coal seam gas to liquefied natural gas industry, which began just 15 short years ago, and as I outlined earlier, is a bright and shining star in our state's future. So what have we learnt over the years, and what do we know what works? There is no doubt that Queensland's clear regulatory and tenure system has helped mining companies progress from discovery to mine development to mineral export. We regulate our land for both exploration and production, but we continually seek to reduce red tape and evolve with industry's changing needs and community standards. We are currently undertaking major reforms to deliver a more flexible and innovative resources tenure framework. We'll have more uniform tenures and timeframes across the different resources and more flexibility for miners and explorers. What this means is a modern tenure system that will make Queensland more attractive for overseas investors, and it will deliver to our state sustainable and long-term economic benefit. We're also supporting our global competitive advantage as a resource destination with one of the world's most advanced online resources permit management systems. Our My Mines online system allows resource companies to launch applications for resource permits online from anywhere at any time. And if you're a resource company today and want to invest in Queensland, you can log on now and lodge an application for exploration or development in Queensland at this very second. It's more efficient, and most importantly, it's faster, which means tenure and investment certainty to start projects in our state a lot sooner. Long before online permits were even imagined, my predecessors in the Queensland government made a far-sighted decision to establish the Office of the Coordinator-General. The role of the Coordinator-General was established in 1938. The Coordinator-General has wide-ranging powers to plan, deliver and coordinate large-scale infrastructure projects while ensuring their environmental impacts are properly managed. The present-day Coordinator-General focuses on facilitating and regulating private sector infrastructure projects, including large mining projects. One of the tools the Coordinator-General has is state development areas. Now, these are areas of land that cluster economic activity together to facilitate economic development and maximise economic potential. We have 9 of these sites in Queensland, and they play a very positive role in maintaining our global competitiveness as a target for investment. The Coordinator-General is currently using a Galilee Basin State Development Area, which is another large coal area in Western Queensland, as a development area to facilitate a rail line and other mine infrastructure in North Queensland. We also recognise that our resources sector cannot be driven completely by market forces. In Queensland, industry, government and academia have a great track record of working closely together to drive innovation, productivity and efficiency in all aspects of mining. Our capital city, Brisbane, can lay claim to be one of the world's largest mining clusters with more than 200 mining companies, plus over a dozen industry associations and universities, many of whom collaborate to develop better mining technology. One example is the Competitive Research Centre for Mining, which brings together large mine operators with technology companies and universities to create breakthrough solutions to current mining sector challenges. The Sustainable Minerals Institute is another partnership of academic institutions and resource companies globally, led by the University of Queensland. It involves leading scientists working closely with our mining industry, with a charter to find more sustainable ways to mine. Partnerships like these are helping to sustain our mining-related success story, the mining, engineering, technology and services sector. This sector has flourished in Queensland because it is focused on a major challenge of the modern miner, productivity. Queensland's mining technology services companies are part of the industry's success because they work to meet the productivity challenge. They develop innovative solutions to long-standing productivity issues within the mining industry, in particular mine planning and automation technology. Actually, it is this mining technology services sector that brings me here. With the level of mining development underway here in Peru, you have been identified as one of the top 10 target markets for our mining technology service company over the next couple of years. It's my job while I'm here to show the local mining industry what Queensland's mining equipment and services companies can do. As many of you will know, Queensland has developed an international reputation and presence with its mining technology services. We have more than 400 operating mining technology services companies, many of them in regional hubs servicing mining clusters. Importantly, they work with a world-renowned resource-focused research and development institutions and universities. More than half of those companies are currently exporting to South America, and 1 in 5 has an office or does business here, right here in Peru. I'm sure that this success is also due to our Trade and Investment Queensland people who have been bringing trade missions to South America every year for more than a decade. There are 6 of our mining technology companies exhibiting here. I'd encourage you all to visit their booths in the Australian National Pavilion. They are Ausenco, Austin Engineering, Deswick, Diamond Grig, Global Road Technology and Runji. Also, I can't forget Pincock Monaco. As I said, our mining technology services companies are the world's best. I don't make that world's best claim without foundation. And why are they the world's best? Well, again, this is a result of partnerships, government assistance, significant private investment and innovation, supported strongly by research and development, always research and development. Queensland's METS companies invested more than $500 million in research and development last financial year. In Queensland, government, industry and university organisations jointly fund research and development facilities. One of Australia's highest profiled university organisations is the Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organisation, established almost 90 years ago. An example of CSIRO's work for mining is the Zebedee, a small handheld laser scanner that collects data without needing GPS. It's being used to create 3D maps in underground mines in Australia, the UK, South Africa and Canada. And that's just an example you see on the screen of one of our parks in Brisbane using this technology. One of the other issues we take very seriously and at which we excel in the Queensland mining industry is mine safety and health. We have some of the toughest and most stringent safety laws in the world, and through our government-owned SIMTARs, we are recognised internationally as a leader in cutting-edge mine safety training, technology and research. I'm proud to say that SIMTARs contributes to safety globally by exporting its expertise in gas monitoring and analysis systems all over the world, including to Chile, Peru, Colombia and Brazil. So today, Queensland has a thriving mining industry, a world-leading mining technology services sector and an efficient regulatory system. Where to from here? How do we maintain this great competitive position and the jobs and economic benefits it delivers to our people? We believe that it's critical to strike the right balance between sustainable resource development and outcomes for landholders, communities and the environment. We must maintain an ongoing relationship built on trust between the community, industry and government. This is absolutely vital for a strong resource sector taking us into the future. We must have an open dialogue and give all stakeholders input into the future of our resources sector. We've recently launched a series of ministerial roundtable meetings to give all stakeholders a voice on research issues. This includes representatives from our farmers, our landholders, our conservation groups, our Indigenous groups, our community groups, and local government, as well from the mining sector. We must stay ahead of emerging issues. For example, the emergence of the liquefied natural gas sector in Queensland has transformed our country's East Coast gas market. Before LNG, domestic demand was about 600 petajoules a year. Total domestic and export demand will reach 2,000 petajoules a year in 2017. Finding this amount of gas per annum for the next 30 to 40 years presents many opportunities for gas investors, explorers, producers, governments, and indeed communities. These opportunities are even greater because other states are having some political difficulties opening up their gas basins. These are the difficulties that we, by and large, we don't have in Queensland because we've taken our people with us on this journey. We need to grow our gas reserve base, increase our productivity, and continue to keep a lid on extraction costs to continue to attract capital, maximise returns to our investors, and look after our own domestic industries. Our government is currently consulting with industry as we develop a gas action plan to tackle the challenges ahead and attract the global gas investment we need. I expect to release the plan in the first quarter of 2016, and I encourage any of you with an interest in gas to stay in touch with our Trade Commissioner in Santiago to follow progress. We must continue to drive productivity through innovation, and this means a focus on our mining technology services. The recent sad downturn in the global mining industry has presented challenges for both mining companies and the sector which services them. It's never been more important to seek innovative solutions to reduce the fixed operational costs of mining. While we have the ingredients, we need greater coordination and collaboration with industry to optimise global competitiveness and commercialise our innovation. The long-term viability of this sector won't come from incremental efficiency improvements, but radical leaps from industry and governments that embrace and harvest innovation. That's why our government has established a $180 million initiative called Advance Queensland. It is a comprehensive suite of programs designed to bring together research and development expertise with industry and government to commercialise technology and improve our competitiveness. In the past, government has been a doer when it came to mining and infrastructure. We are now more a facilitator. We are working with a number of projects, a number of proponents to open up the Galilee Basin for coal export through the Port of Abbott Point. However, unlike years past, we now allow and encourage more private sector involvement in the value chain of our coal industry. We have recently introduced a mechanism to allow the private sector to bring government innovative proposals to develop new industry and infrastructure projects in Queensland. The market-led proposal mechanism allows government and industry to work together to deliver infrastructure that supports growth in an efficient and timely manner. Combining industry know-how and the visibility and strategic oversight of government will ensure we achieve the best solutions for infrastructure delivery. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I leave you better informed about the resources industry journey from an Australian and Queensland perspective. Most importantly, I hope that I have given you some insight as to why Queensland is now a world-class producer and leading destination for resource investment. We welcome further resource investment for the economic benefits it generates for our communities. I encourage you all to discuss these opportunities with our Trade Commissioner, Mr. Alex Pisano, and his team at the Latin American Trade and Investment Office in Santiago. Thank you.